The method of physical actions. Disappointed in the results of his earlier developments, Stanislavsky continued his search for the conscious means towards the subconscious. That is, a conscious means which would stir the actor's emotions. It is not clear whether Stanislavsky studied the work of the neurophysiologist Ivan Pavlov, or whether his final discovery was the logical and natural result of his 40-year study of human behavior. There is proof, however, that Stanislavsky studied the work of the neurophysiologist I.M. Sechenov. Stanislavsky discovered that internal experiences and their physical expression are unbreakably united. The first fact, said Stanislavsky, is that the elements of the human soul and the particles of a human body are indivisible. The thesis of Stanislavsky that human psychological life moods, desires, feelings, intentions, ambitions is expressed through simple physical actions has been confirmed by such scientists as Ivan Pavlov and I.M. Sechenov. There is no inner experience without external physical expression. Our bodies transmit to others our inner experiences. Science has confirmed that neural pathways connect our physical actions with the inner mechanism of emotions, the innumerable nuances in human experience. The most profound processes of one's inner life are expressed through physical actions. A shrug of the shoulder, a movement of the spine, a complete immobility express the mental processes. Sechenov said that our bodies express what we are thinking and experiencing before we are aware of it. It is impossible to separate an experience from its physical expression. Stanislavsky realized that when an actor on stage executes only physical movements, he violates the psychophysical union, and his performance is mechanical, dead. And if the actor does not express his thoughts and feelings physically, he is equally dead. It is impossible to understand a person or a character without comprehending the person's or the character's thoughts and emotions. It is impossible to build a character only with the body. Thoughts and emotions are essential in building a functioning individual, but we cannot underestimate the importance of training an actor's body. The body provides a great deal of information through visual transmission. Stanislavsky realizes that to be natural, the actor must be capable of grasping every reaction on stage in a psychophysical way. He realizes that there is a break between the intellectual and the physical preparation in the actor's work on the character. He concludes that from the very beginning, the performer must include the physical life, his body, in the psychological process in order to make this break disappear. Due to this break between the mental and the physical behavior of the actor, and owing to the scientific fact that emotions respond only when there is a real reason, Stanislavsky faced great difficulty in stirring the actor's emotions. There is nothing real on stage. He understood the mutual influence of psychological and physical behavior and began to think about starting the actor's creativity on stage from the physical side of the psychophysical process. Stanislavsky found his point of departure in a process which, without fail, leads the actor from the conscious to the subconscious. He developed his ultimate technique, the method of physical actions, which is the solution to spontaneous behavior on stage. Instead of forcing an emotion before going on stage, the actor fulfills a simple, concrete, purposeful physical action which stirs the psychological side of the psychophysical act, thus achieving psychophysical involvement. It must be clearly understood that Stanislavsky does not mean that the actor goes on stage to fulfill any physical movement. Physical movement is a mechanical act. Physical action has a purpose. It has a psychology. Human action, an act of human behavior, is conditioned by the environment. The circumstances created by the playwright add nuance and color to the scenic action. Science established that every nuance of emotion is connected with a particular physical action. Therefore, that action must be carefully selected on the basis of the play's circumstances. It must be the indispensable physical action connected with the emotion which the actor must bring out. Only when the actor finds the correct physical action will he achieve psychophysical involvement. The building of the character's logic of physical actions is simultaneously the building of the character's logic and consecutiveness of emotions, all the elements of the system, which were important in their own right at the time when Stanislavsky was developing them, now contribute to the truthful execution of a physical action. The process by which an actor finds such physical action is as complex as that by which a composer finds the correct harmonious sound for his chord. It requires a great deal of experimentation through improvisation, but when the actor finds such an action, he achieves psychophysical involvement. Through a great deal of preparatory work, the actor can achieve spontaneity. Then, during the performance, he is in an improvisational state when none of the preparatory work is seen, because he behaves as in life. With the method of physical actions, Stanislavsky reversed a human process. In life, we experience an emotion, and the body expresses it. Stanislavsky achieves the experience of an emotion through a physical action. He superseded the system of expressive movement, formulated by François Delsarte, 1811-1871, who suggested that an emotion could be expressed with a prescribed gesture established beforehand. A human gesture depends on numerous factors, such as individual traits, the tempo rhythm in which the individual is acting at the given moment, and other circumstances. The only man in the theater world who studied theater through science, and who studied the creative work of the great actors of his time. Stanislavsky determined laws, by means of which an actor restores in himself, at every performance, the true emotions of the characters he portrays. In life, people often conceal what they experience. In theater, real experiences must be expressed. The great Russian singer Chaliapin was known to have his voice tonality conditioned by the gestures which he found. It flowed from the gestures of his body in his roles, the gestures of the actor's body expressing mental experiences such as thoughts, emotions, evaluations, decisions, are a gift of genius. Stanislavsky made them possible for all capable actors. The actor's body must speak where there are no words, projecting in silence the inner monologue and other mental processes and creating an uninterrupted flow of life on stage. Obviously, words are very important elements in theater, but equally important are gestures of the body and the mise-en-scène. Stanislavsky said, verbal action depends on the physical action. Words alone cannot project everything. Human relationships are expressed by gestures, poses, glances, silences. Gesture is an integral part of the action and gives the spectator visual information. It expresses during pauses in the actor's own lines or while others are speaking what words cannot express. Every gesture of the actor's body must be absolutely essential and easily understood. Everything else must be cut as superfluous. Through the art of the actor, the logic of the body reflects the logic of emotions. In theater, there must be a mutual influence of words and pantomime. G.R. Tovstonogov, the eminent Russian director, has said, the method of physical actions is now the only one, and there is nothing in the world, theater, to equal it in the field of the actor's art. Most important in the actor's art is achieving the experience of a true emotion. The method of physical actions gives the actor the possibility of such an achievement. Stanislavsky's final conclusions are constantly studied by Russian scientists. Dissertations on creativity are written not only by theater scholars, but also by psychologists and physiologists. In addition to giving the actor the possibility of achieving lifelike behavior on stage, the method of physical actions is the most subtle means of analyzing a play. The period of analysis while sitting around the table has not been entirely abandoned, but it has been shortened. Now actors continue analysis of the play through improvisations on actions. It is impossible to select an action without a thorough analysis of its motivation. To understand the motivation, the actor must study the play and refer to his own associations. The search for the logic and consecutiveness of actions is the most subtle analysis of the role, in which the actor's mind, his senses, his intuition, the muscles of his body, his whole spiritual and physical nature participate. Such analysis is invaluable for actors and directors, and is vital for theater critics. In other arts, critics in their evaluations rely on the laws of the art they evaluate and on the reputation of the great works of the past. Their evaluations are the result not only of their emotional reactions and intellectual conclusions, but of their exposure to the best examples of world art and culture. In theatre, great works of the past disappeared, and there were no laws for stage creativity. Thus, criteria have not been developed. When we look at a work of art, we may like it or we may not like it. It is a matter of personal taste, but the critical evaluation of a work of art must be substantiated. An authoritative review must include the critic's expression of his views, aesthetic taste, literary talent, knowledge of the complex world of life, knowledge of theatre creativity and of its laws and difficulties. It must include a consecutive analysis which has a scientific basis. Only such analysis is impartial and constructive. There is only one way to preserve a great performance for future generations, by means of a knowledgeable review. Even film cannot preserve a stage performance. A filmed performance often differs completely from the stage performance. A film director must use different means to make it effective. Therefore, the drama critic must be able to speak about the actor's work and about the director's work. He must be able to tell whether the sets, lighting, and music composed for the performance have contributed to the emotional content of the action on stage. He must know the creative process that goes into the preparation of a performance and be able to tell whether the actor has transformed himself into the character or was pretending, faking. Such reviews will be material for building a history of theatre art. Without them, the history and science of theatre art cannot exist or develop. Stanislavsky's ultimate technique teaches the laws of creativity on stage. It teaches playwrights the construction of the mechanism of the play, and it provides criteria for judgment and appreciation of theatre art. Exercises and improvisations. An analogous emotion in your own life should be, as much as possible, the basis for the situation in any improvisation. Before executing an improvisation, concentrate and build in your imagination the circumstances in which the action takes place, why you do it, where it takes place, when. Think of all the possible details in each situation. Be yourself, but in different circumstances. In your imagination, picture people you know in real life. After you have built the situation, find physical behavior that will express what you want to project. Search for the unique physical action, which is connected to the emotion you want to stir. The action will trigger the emotion, and you will behave in a psychophysical way. Instructions. Before and after physical actions. The student must use gestures of the body in order to project mental processes, such as thoughts, feelings, decisions, evaluations, attitudes. The body must speak in silences when there are no words on stage. Resistance of the body must be overcome. The muscles of the actor's body must become intensely responsive to the inner processes. Students must strive to achieve psychophysical involvement in every exercise and improvisation. The physical state must be projected. Most exercises should be done to music. 1. Sit, stand, walk. Justify everything you do. For example, sit at a window in order to see what is happening in the house opposite. Sit in order to rest. 2. Stand to be photographed. Stand in order to see better. 3. Walk to pass the time. Walk to annoy the people who live in the apartment below. 4. Clean your bureau drawers. 5. Count the numbers of objects on a table. 6. You have to leave school because you cannot afford to pay tuition. A friend wants to help you, but she has no money. She brings you a valuable brooch. You refuse the gift, but your friend insists, lays it on a dresser, and leaves. You walk with your friend to the door. When you come back, you find that the brooch has disappeared. Can anyone have taken it while you weren't looking? 7. Burn a letter. First, think why you do it. Then, think what you may have done in a real situation when you had to burn a letter. In all improvisations, the actor must think in 3 steps: beginning, exposition, development, and end. Think of your actions, not of your feelings. Do not try too hard, but do not be nonchalant or careless. Be concrete in what you do. Do not do anything in general. In general, said Stanislavsky, is the enemy of art. Always have an important objective. Purposefulness connects the simplest, physical, action with the most complex, psychological action. This connection was discovered for the first time by Stanislavsky as the objective nature of the actor's work, which from beginning to end, in its best or worst manifestations, is the art of action. P. Ma. Ashuv, directing as practical psychology.
सब्सक्राइब इट, लव इट एंड शेयर इट. नोटिफिकेशन के लिए बेल आइकन ज़रूर दबाएं. और हाँ, यू कैन ऑल्सो फॉलो अस ऑन इंस्टाग्राम, ट्विटर एंड फेसबुक. थैंक यू. लव यू.